Well, welcome to this week's episode of Dakota Kustomz Un-Riveted. I'm Travis Feist, owner-operator of Dakota Kustomz. And with me, as always, is my sales manager, Rob.
What's up, guys? Week 4. Let's do this.
Week 4. We've had some pretty good discussions already with these podcasts.
Only going to get better.
Yes. We actually got some guests with us in our upcoming events next weekend. We actually got some pretty big community shows that are happening. And with us, we have Matt. I believe the last name is Shannondorf.
Hey, there you go.
Is that pretty good? You did it, right?
First time around.
There you go. And we got Sean and Toby Lunstad. And we're going to talk a little bit how these two actually are joining forces per se, and how they're going to kind of lean on each other to bring people in to raise some money and for some really good benefit, I guess, that's coming up. I guess is that what it would be, like a benefit to raise money?
Awareness.
Awareness and benefit.
Yeah. So until we get into that, talk about that. Let's shop. Like what do we got going on? Are we getting ready for anything or
Still that time of year, you know, the weather's finally starting to break and people are really wanting to get their hot rods out now and their bikes and just getting them ready so they can go cruise with no problems and look good at the same time too. So
it's kind of crazy because yesterday we woke up and it was like 38 degrees and it's what, June 1st? Yes.
So yeah, that's why people are like, okay, I'm gonna bring my car in today. Okay, well maybe tomorrow. Okay, maybe the next day. I'm gonna bring it in today actually. I can just bring it in today, so it's done.
Yeah. Well, we're about ready for summer. I think I'm ready for it to start getting warm.
I was ready a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So
It's time.
It's time. Yeah, it's time because I know how it's going to be. It's you wake up, it's 38. Tomorrow you wake up, it's going to be 105, and that's usually how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no in between. It's one or the other. And it seems like that's what you get living here in North Dakota. So be it, I guess. So on that note, kind of leads us into what we actually have coming up. So getting cars ready for next weekend's big event,
Buggies and
which
Cruise.
kicks off Friday night. Actually, we have a special guest that's actually coming into town. If you guys don't know, but the Dukes of Hazzard is John Schneider. He's coming for the weekend. He's going to be bringing the General Lee, I believe.
Yep.
He's going to be playing. He's in a band, right? I believe.
Yeah,
What's the band's name?
John Schneider and Stars and Bars Band.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yep.
And so he's going to be performing this weekend. He's also going to be opening the races, right?
Yep, singing the national anthem at the
okay.
races. And he's going to do some kind of exhibition stuff out there in his race car.
Okay, so he is bringing his race car.
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't
Yep.
sure.
He's going to be running a mod car, and he's actually going to be running a pull truck out there too during the truck pulls out there.
Oh, so that is too, right? Isn't that this? Oh, wow.
That's
There is a lot.
weekend.
Going
Yeah, a
on.
lot of stuff.
So, yeah, you guys will explain
Yeah.
all that. We'll get into detail. But yeah, so we had a special guest coming in. So it's John Schneider. He's going to be doing a meet and greet, singing with his band, racing, signing autographs, giving rides. I don't know if he actually is, but the car.
Yeah, he's selling tickets to give rides. That's kind of his own deal for his ticket vendor. So they'll be doing rides on, what's it, Saturday? What time is that again?
10, I think they're starting.
10, yeah. 10 in the morning. It's Saturday from Dakota Speedway.
Sure, and more. I mean, obviously, it would be one of the authentic General Lees. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not a
No, it's
built one. I mean,
yeah,
it is
it's
the
his.
actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's his actual.
which
General.
would probably make sense if it's John
Yeah.
Schneider.
Right.
But you never know.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be
Right.
legit.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
it's the real thing.
Yep.
So, which is good, and everything starts Friday, I believe. And again, I'll let you guys get into detail. But it starts Friday, and then we have a Saturday ordeal. It's going to be. You guys will also explain what's all going on
Yep.
on Saturday, and then that'll lead into everything that Matt has to say on what brings us for Sunday.
Yep.
But you also have stuff going on Saturday,
Saturday,
with
yeah.
Buggies and Blues. So a lot going on. Bismarck, Mandan, both places. Endless stuff, cars everywhere, cool bands. Yeah, so all kinds of cool stuff.
A lot of
So
different entities coming together to make this happen.
yeah, definitely. And so which is nice is obviously you guys picked a great weekend to do it because I mean us around here, I think you don't even have to be a car enthusiast, and I think that you actually look forward to Buggies and Blues because I've been there. Let's see, I think I've been there at least 15 times, not in a row. I took a break there for a little bit, but I believe I've been there at least 15 times, and you see everybody there. I mean, it's not just car guys. I mean, it's young, old. It's a pure family thing.
Caters to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of us really look forward to that event that comes up here, and so it is a big thing for us. So in that to be said, I want to kind of explain a little bit how these two got together, used each other's events to bring this huge thing together, and why, and the purpose behind it. So let's start off. Toby, you
Yep.
want to kind of just run us
Sure.
through kind of what started, what gave you the idea, why, what made you come up with it, and kind of just give us a run around and on
Right.
everything.
I think we forgot to give her an introduction as well.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can introduce. This is Addilynn. She's 7. She's our youngest. And when she was 3, she was diagnosed with a genetic disorder called CACNA1A. And what CACNA1A does is it's a gene that's responsible for the communication between your brain cells. And we all have this gene. But what happened with Addilynn is the spelling of the gene got mixed up, so it doesn't function like ours do. And so her CACNA1A gene releases too much calcium, which makes her brain really excited, which leads to difficult to treat epilepsy, developmental delays. And she's also prone to something called hemiplegic migraines, which basically it looks like she's having a stroke, but it's a different type of neurological event. So she has, in her short 7 years, had uncontrolled seizures for 3 days, resulting in a traumatic brain injury. She came out of that with all of the milestones that she had worked so hard to achieve basically wiped out. That happened in 2018. In 2020, she experienced a hemiplegic migraine and lost her ability to eat and drink. Again, wiped out a bunch of milestones. We had to turn around and start everything over. And then most recently in 2021, we got into a season of very poor seizure control. And so in August of 2021, she had over 700 seizures and wound up getting, and we were told that we're out of medication options. We've exhausted all medication options 4 years into epilepsy at the age of 7. So now she has something, what's called a vagal nerve stimulator to help with that. And it seems to be working. So we're in a good season now.
So that's to prevent seizures.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
now this, and I was kind of visiting with Sean a little bit about it. So this is a rare thing.
Yes.
I mean, this is rare.
Right.
This isn't something common that you see in a lot of kids.
Nope.
This is like what'd you say, like a unicorn kind of a thing?
Right.
It's very-
Yep,
yeah,
she's a unicorn. Her variant is the only one. There's a whole family of CACNA1A variants. So some of them are inherited from parents, and then some of them just spontaneously happen, which is what happened with her. She started showing developmental delays when she was still a baby, and we tried to get a diagnosis, and they told us, whatever is causing this, there's no testing for yet. So we didn't find out right away. And then when she was 3, we started again to try to figure out what was going on. And then we were actually testing for something else. And this just happened to be on the panel. There's others in the CACNA1A community who did not get diagnosed until like late teens, adulthood. It's just it's hard because it's under-researched and everybody's symptoms are different. So there's not a lot of treatments because everybody's symptoms are different and because there isn't a lot of research. So, when she was diagnosed, we were just basically told supportive treatments, and she's the only one in the world with her specific variant. So we have no idea what to do. It's like, let's just grab a straw and see what happens.
One variant isn't going to help them catch it sooner or have any preventative matters.
It's a genetic thing that just happens. So you can't keep your genes from changing. And then just with a lack of research for the people who do have common variants, there still isn't great treatment because it's under-researched.
Well, so I actually met Sean, I would say about 07, 08. You were in your old shop over here,
Yep.
and I think, I'm trying to remember what it was. I don't know if it was my Dodge pickup or something. I think I read over and I had you check it out. You were referred. I'm trying to think who it was that referred me to you. But anyways, it was like the first time I met you in this little shop over here. So I've known you for a few years.
Yep.
I've sent you business.
Yep.
I know my family. My mom's dealt with my brothers
Yep.
deals with you. We've got mutual friends that have dealt with you. So I know you. I don't, we've never hung out, but I
Yep.
know you.
Yep.
I mean, I know who you are, and I've sent you business and what have you.
Absolutely.
And I follow you on Facebook, and the post that you guys put on there, you pretty much lived in Mayo with this. I mean, this isn't a weekend, you go down for a week and a month and you're back. I mean, this is like you live down there pretty much. And down in Mayo in Rochester, Minnesota is the top medical that you would want to take your daughter to. So you've devoted a lot of your life already for her and trying to figure out.
Yep. And we actually wound up switching to a different hospital in Minnesota because there were neurologists there that were familiar with her diagnosis, and it just was a better fit for everything that we were looking for. But it's still like there's nobody in North Dakota that can help her and treat her. We have a good core team here, for minor. Well, nothing's ever minor, but like if she's feeling under the weather or whatever, but as soon as anything neurological starts happening, we're on a plane, getting life flighted out because they can't do anything.
Yeah. And which makes it tough because, you can't just go to the local doctor and have her die or anything like that. So, which again is expensive and everything else. That's unreal.
Yeah.
I think when I first met you, Sean, this is kind of when this all started, and I think we were shop neighbors, and you were gone all the time. I was like, something serious is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that happens. You just kind of drop everything, and, cross your fingers, everything keeps running.
Yeah. And so is this your only? This isn't your only child,
No,
right?
I got two others.
Yeah. So
21-year-old boy and 23-year-old.
They're older. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the youngest.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what brings next weekend's event? Like, how's that involved with what's going on here? So
it's going to bring massive awareness.
Yeah.
So massive awareness.
We're hoping.
Yeah. What did you put? Explain. Okay. I know you kind of explained to me a little bit, Sean, like how you were thinking and kind of brain farted this whole.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of started with me.
So
the Captain 1A Foundation started, and I just kind of thought, well, I'd like to do something, to be able to help or whatever. And, we talked about it, and it's kind of like, I got a friend that I kind of met here, Keith Burns, the band Trick Pony. Got talking to him, it kind of was going to be him maybe just doing a concert, something small, to start out with. And he just says, well, hey, why don't you bring Bo's Extravaganza up here? I'm like, well, how's that work?
Yeah.
He says, well, let me check into it. Phone call later, bang, it was started. So I'm like, this is getting real, So that's kind of how it all started. And, I knew Chad Getz had puts on the Hammer Down Truck Show over here.
Sure.
Known him for many, many years. I was out at the grocery store one day and I was actually going to call him. It was weird. I seen him in the frozen food section. And I just kind of laid it on him.
Sure.
And he's like, hell yeah, I'm in. Whatever. Because I can pretty much speak for Greg too. I bet he'd be in too. And we all met and started meeting with Dakota Speedway. Well, then, we got the Man in Progress organization involved. It kind of ended up being. We were going to do a separate event, well, then end up tying in and, one big thing. And
it's almost like it was meant to be kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of all fell into place,
all fallen in and everybody, and which is good too, because awesome. I've noticed, we've done a few charitable events here, and it seems like when you reach out, and I feel like, and I'm not saying anything good or bad, but it seems like with Mandan especially, people are really good, and like when you mention anything with like awareness or
They're super giving.
or trying to raise money for a good
When we
cause,
did the,
people are like they jump aboard and they're awesome to work with.
Yeah, it's been awesome so far. I mean, it's it's been good.
Yeah, that one we did for the firefighters, that was a crazy good turnout.
Yeah, we did really good on that one. So made a phone call and
It turned
lined
into
it
meeting
up
after
and-
meeting with different people, and
Yeah.
So then who
lot of
put
talking.
so when you found out like that John was gonna come and all that, so did you still step in and organize still everything, or did he have somebody to take
Well,
over to make
it was
sure
a lot
it
of
was his way, or
phone
was-
calls, emails back and forth, and just kind of getting all the ducks in a row, and then meeting with Mandan Progress there, and just what everybody wanted and how we wanted to do this logistically, and there's a lot of meetings, I guess, and a lot of stuff back and forth,
Yeah.
phone calls, and stuff like that to make it work.
Because again, I mean, Buggies and Blues is a big event,
Yeah.
and obviously this is no slouch. I
No,
mean, having
this should be a pretty big
just
event
even
also.
the
and
car
stuff.
show and with
Yeah.
the big rig show, and then you put the races and the truck pulls,
Yep.
and then you put John Schneider on top of it.
Yep, and all the
That's a-
concerts.
That's a big deal
You know.
too. So it's almost like go hand in hand to work with each other to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that they're not pulling from you and your special event.
And that's
you
kind
guys
of what we
are
were
respectful
always about
and
there,
not Try to
Yep.
interfere and take stuff away from this. So
Yep.
that worked out really well. So with this, is there somewhere that people can like help donate? Are you running like a GoFundMe or anything if somebody wants to help out?
Right.
Do you have?
So we, in all the planning of this, there is a foundation founded by 3 moms out east called the CACNA 1A Foundation, and they're really spearheading research because the feedback that they have gotten from researchers is they know that variants on the CACNA 1A gene can cause so many issues and just be devastating and life-changing. But in order for research to happen, you need to have money,
Yep.
So they started the CACNA 1A Foundation, and I was part of that as a family advisory council member. And, of course, we want her life to be as good as it can be. And right now, just knowing that there's supportive treatments and nothing targeted is really frustrating, So as he started talking about these fundraising things, it's like, well, how are we going to work this all together? Because they're, based out east, and we're here in North Dakota. And like, how are we gonna do this? And that's where Addilynns Bee-lievers came into play. So Addilynns Bee-lievers is a nonprofit. We are legit with the IRS, did all of that stuff. And so anything that anybody donates to us is through our nonprofit, and then with the funds that are raised this weekend and then indefinitely as we continue on, it's going to kind of be split a few different ways. So we plan to support foundations like the CACNA 1A Foundation, who are facilitating research and have all these wonderful connections. They're awarding grants, working on getting cell lines built so we can be clinical research ready and all of that type of stuff. So they're just doing great work there. And then, so part of our funds are going to go to supporting their work, because that ultimately is going to affect Addilyn's quality of life as research improves and hopefully more targeted treatments or potentially cures. I mean, with gene therapy out there and stuff, you can manipulate genes. Potentially that could be something too. We don't know because it's so rare and under-researched. But we also wanted to make sure that we were giving back to our community. And things that have become very important to us as Addilynn has been living her life with CACNA 1A is outpatient physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, and making sure that we're all as comfortable as we can be in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, and without getting into too much confusing detail about health insurance and things like that, but there are some kids who have a medical need for these outpatient therapies, but exhaust their insurance benefits. So then they go without therapy. And we know how important it is. Luckily, she is in a position that we don't have to worry about her benefits exhausting, but I have a lot of friends who are in that boat. So, we want to help support families and clinics by giving therapy scholarships. So that's one thing that we're going to do locally to give back to the community. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we've kind of came up with a survival list of hospital stays, or what should you have when you're in the hospital, unexpectedly or expectedly. And we are hoping to put together what we're calling family comfort kits to, every so often just contact the pediatric floors of the hospitals here, find out how many families are up there, and just bring them a comfort kit to help with healing, both for the child who's hospitalized and the caregivers that are staying with them, because it's just important for everybody to feel good, to promote healing as good as you can feel in the hospital. But we've, been in a few different hospitals, had lots of hospital stays, and when you get those long ones, and you realize that some things simple like salt and pepper, you take those little packets don't go very far, shampoo and
things,
soft, cozy blankets, she's been life flighted several times and you can only bring so much, and then we're in crisis mode and I'm trying to rattle off a list of things for him to have, or to bring for us.
And I take one parent on a flight, so the other one's driving. Usually.
Yeah.
Well, and it's got to be hard too, because on top of it, when you're dealing with all that to begin with, you're never really mentally prepared for something like that. Then on top of it, what kind of sucks on the other hand is we're going through COVID too, so you have to deal with, not only do you have to worry about her and her well-being, but then it's all the new stuff with the flights, and then even getting to the hospital, everything's changed because of COVID.
And how many people can come visit and support you,
you can't have everybody in there, and everybody wants to be up there, but no, you're limited. It's like tag team wrestling, it's like tag in, tag out, and that's got to add on everything too on top of it. So trying to be prepared at the last minute, you never are.
No.
And then dealing with all those other, fiasco stuff. It's got to make it difficult and hard to be comfortable and to, be prepared for something like that. So I like where you're going with this. About a year ago, I think it was in July, so be almost a year ago in July, my brother at 45 had a stroke and rushing to the hospital. Again, you're not prepared. You're not gonna, make sure you get everything packed up and ready. And going to the hospital, it's, they're understaffed, short bed, short gowned, short blankets, like you said, even for food wise or anything. And that's locally here. Now you travel somewhere and try to get special care and, the amenities and everything. It's amazing how some of that stuff means so much. The little
simple thing.
Yeah, because you're in the the hospital. You're not going to leave. You're not going to want to go anywhere, obviously. So just those little things mean the world to people just to have. Just a decent, like you said, just salt and pepper. Or something, it's just it does. It's crazy. You don't think it's kind of like. A couple of years ago, we were sitting at the house and the hot water heater goes out, and you wouldn't believe how just hot water, it's like just that simple thing, how you wish you would have it, because not having it really sucks. That's just hot water. So, you take things for granted until when you need it, and then you realize just how important some of that stuff is. So that's a great idea that, putting that together and doing that, because there is other people out there that, their mind is focused elsewhere. They're not focused on stuff like that. They're focused on the care of the person that's in the hospital or what's going on. So that, excellent, great deal on that.
Yeah, that's up. So I kind of got to ask, so since she was diagnosed, what's kind of been the biggest breakthrough as far as, treatment that she could receive, or with the research, has there been anything, or just
No.
anything, something, I guess, but
I mean, it's
kind of at ground zero.
Yeah, it's hard because, she's kind of trailblazing too, because
Exactly.
we have tried so many different things. With the vagal nerve stimulator, or the VNS, there's actually two other kiddos that have severe epilepsy and a CACNA1A variant.
And are they like North Dakota? Or
Nope,
are they...
nope, they are Georgia and Pennsylvania. But we have a little group that we're always talking. We're the VNS. We're the VNS moms, and they all kind of got them around the same time. And we are finding that, the kids who have the difficult to treat epilepsy that have medication failure after medication failure, this seems to be changing their quality of life, So potentially there's that maybe 5 years down the road, another child or adult, because adults are getting diagnosed too, they've lived their whole life with all these mystery symptoms and they can't figure out what's going on, and now they're, everything's coming full circle, and might be, okay, so we've tried this many meds, we need to talk about a vagal nerve stimulator sooner, but to get to a surgical option, you have to fail so many of it, fail first approach, is how it works. And it's hard too, because it's a whole spectrum. Even if a family has 3 members with the same variant, because we're all individual, everybody is affected different. So that's what makes it hard too. You can have a parent who has no symptoms, they just have the variation, because when we tested for her, all 3 of us tested, and then you can have a child who's very severely affected with the same variant. Yeah. So it's just a really hard gene.
In the car world, it's kind of similar to a paint job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
not everyone turns out the same, even though you spray the same color. Yeah.
Because your other 2 kids, it's nothing,
Nope.
So it's...
What we like to call them normal.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Yeah. But it does lead to a discussion, because we have a grandson now too, and one of the things that I did ask was should they be getting tested or worried about this? And since hers is a spontaneous variant, they don't have any higher risk than anybody else, because we don't know why this happened, because we don't carry it. If she would ever get to the point to where she would have kids, her kids would have a high likelihood of inheriting it. But
so is there a lot of research on this, or is this kind of they're learning as the cases come about?
right, so there's little research, but it's growing, because like I said, the CACNA1A Foundation has sponsored several research grants, and I didn't go through and prepare that detailed, but they have it all listed on their website, and research talk and methods and all that stuff is it's hard for me to wrap my brain around, so we're just supporting them on their quest, obviously. So it's growing. Like I said, the research community is very excited that there is support for them to research this, because they realize how drastically it can impact somebody's life. So hopefully, in 5 or 10 years, if somebody is diagnosed with it, ideally, okay, you have this is what we have found that's worked through research, and so we're just kind of helping them blaze the trail right now, and in the process, keep her in a good state of wellness.
Awesome.
And from what you were talking, Sean, what they've done so far has actually helped tremendously compared to how you started out with.
Yeah.
For what she was going through, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice to, even her team out in Minnesota is thankful that there's this foundation who is facilitating research. They They have clinician guides on their website, family guides, things to ask after you're diagnosed, just all sorts of things that I wish we would have had. We've learned it along the way, but even protocols for what to do if your child presents with a hemiplegic migraine, like when she had hers, it wasn't in place. Luckily, we basically did everything that they're finding is helpful for shutting it down and hopefully preventing brain damage, because what can happen too is the brain can swell and then it causes a traumatic brain injury. So this is scary stuff.
Absolutely. So every day you're learning too on everything about this, the do's and don'ts and how to help treat or what to look for and everything. So it's a learning experience even for you, because like you said, nobody can prepare for this. Nobody's going to say, something tells me this is going to happen. Let's prepare now for it. Well, it doesn't ever work like that.
Nope.
So just the amount of stress and homework for you to just learn it as you go is a lot. And I wish you the best of luck. I'm glad that she's doing good. Have you got any future plans on anything? Any big other actors coming in, or you're letting secrets out?
Let's get through this one
Are
first.
we just gonna have Rob sign autographs?
Right. Well, hey.
I'm Tom Cruise, but I'll try.
Yeah, no Maverick, but come close.
We're gonna get
Just
through
kinda
this
go
one,
through
and we're
this.
just gonna kind of work up to
see
the
how it
next.
goes and learn.
Yeah.
We'll probably maybe do some smaller stuff this summer yet, and
Okay.
next year, this fall and this winter, we'll kind of work up to next year.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, make sure you again let us know.
Burt Reynolds passed away, so we can't get him here anymore. So
Yeah.
that'd be my next pick.
I'm sure that was your first choice if possible.
Which is a good one. There's nothing wrong with that choice at all.
Yeah.
So, in involvement with that, how does your shindig event intertwine with what they have going on? Do you want to kind of explain a little bit of that and what has to present for us next weekend?
Yeah, well, I'm new at the MPO. I just started in January, so I kind of came in with everything half planned.
Okay, sure.
So I've been kind of filling the shoes of Del Wetch and getting him educating me on everything that happens and stuff like that. But events are in my wheelhouse. I worked at 40 Grand Lincoln State Park and a lot of events out there. And I ran and organized the Almond Ford for the last 10 years out there and did that. So experience-based events are big, and building traditional style events are what are key to the success of some of these long-term events. And Buggies and Blues has been a successful event in Mandan for a number of years. It's going on its 29th year.
And you're familiar with this?
Oh yeah, no, I took my kids down. I went down, when I was younger, and now I take my kids down. And so now, actually seeing the behind the scenes of the event, you kind of see what's happening, why it's important, how it plays into Mandan's kind of summer story every year. So the block party was kind of a brainchild from Dell and the board on trying to come up with some new thing on Saturday. Usually there's just a concert in Dykstra Park, but now we have the new park, and Main Street was kind of redone a little bit, so it was kind of a little bit of a celebratory type of thought behind this large block party. They had seen the Boogie Wonder Band at the Cool Deadwood Nights, and so that was kind of a high energy band, and really wanted to bring that to Mandan as part of the kind of the Buggies and Blues celebration. And so that was the first kind of start of it,
Okay.
The block party, the stage, this whole type of, kind of take down Main Street and 2 blocks of kind of fun. But we really were kind of missing this kind of opening act spot. We had to kind of scratch our head on who we would get in that would be a good opening act. Is it someone local that we get in? Are they going to draw the crowd? Because we have the Boogie Wonder Band coming on later. So when I joined, that was kind of where we were at.
For sure.
The block party had been planned. We kind of sitting there, and so this idea was presented to us, and we kind of went on a limb, because as the MPO stands, we've never really gone to the community for such an investment for an event, and so we really kind of were like, well, we need to hit the ground, all the different businesses in Mandan, and see who can contribute to bring in these two major acts. So we sat on it for a while. We kind of talked about it. I kind of him and Han didn't at home about it, saying, God, is this something we can actually afford to do and bring on? But in the end, it's Mandan's such a tight-knit community when it comes to like supporting each other. The businesses supported. When families go through tough times, you see that happening whenever there's some type of tragedy that happens or event that happens in Mandan. And so, that was kind of the kicker for me when we came to the board. Said, okay, I think we can do this because this is a good cause. There's a good story behind it. There's a good feeling behind, bringing these two acts and bringing this act to town. And
so I suppose when you were first brought to this, when Sean kind of came to you about it, I suppose right away you're thinking, that's never going to happen. No way Josh and I are going to come to Mandan, North Dakota, So I suppose you're probably a little leery at first, or
definitely a little
did you take it serious right away and just go
I took it serious because I was like, well, Mandan's kind of a cool town.
Yeah.
Why someone wouldn't want to come to Mandan, So,
Did you just send a picture of your charger or what?
Yeah.
It's probably like, yeah, look at this guy.
It intrigued me because really, I spent the later part of my last decade of my career working in, tourism management, hospitality, and so I look at Buggies and Blues as not just a single event, but as an attraction for the community, and not just for the community members, but for people that want to travel here and see Mandan and see what it's all about. So when you have Buggies and Blues and you have this, this epic car show that's been going on for almost 30 years, and then you start to piece in everything else that's going on, and then you start to see that, we have races on Friday, and when they came and talked to us about the Hammer Down Truck Show happening, and it's like, well, there's another aspect, another piece to the puzzle, and we have the races, and then we've got the car show, music, food, all these different things play into the design and experience of a great community event. And then on Sunday, we've got the plane flying over, planes and pancakes over the airport. So you even have airplanes that are involved, and they get a couple thousand people out there for that event. So that happens again in Mandan. And so as you start to kind of piece all these things together, you start to see this kind of growth of a motor weekend happening. And so from my standpoint, from a promotion standpoint for the city of Mandan, I see this as an opportunity to kind of build a bigger foundation around Buggies and Blues, and all of a sudden we've got this kind of niche event that not only involves the community but now the region. We have people coming here because they know Mandan's got this great motor weekend. It's 3-4 days of cars and trucks and motorcycles, planes.
Something for everybody.
Something for everyone,
Whatever you're into.
Whatever you're into, and you can bring that together, and then you draw in people like a John Schneider, Boogie Wonder Band. You get these kind of acts that want to come because they know there's a life to it. It's not just some small event that draws in a few thousand people, and we've got some dedicated volunteers, and that's the other thing that's the key to these events. Buggies and Blues wouldn't be where it is today without the volunteers that have spent decades putting it on that I've learned a ton from in just the few months of being out there. So it's a great opportunity to have.
Yeah, and Buggies and Blues is pretty big, and I know even just as many times I've been there as a vendor, every year it grows, and it seems like it's another block long. It's another half a block, and then it's another block. It grows and grows and grows, and I had a couple cousins that live in Seattle, Washington, and this was, I think, about 7 years ago, if I remember correctly. They drove. There was 4 of them. They drove their hot rods from Seattle all the way here for the Buggies and Blues event. Yeah. So it is. I mean, they wanted to be a part of it because it's that nice of a car show. So you're right. Bringing. It's just not a local thing. People come from all over to enter their cars or to come and see the cars. And how many think that? I mean, God, we gotta have 300 probably.
Average in the past years has been about 400,
about
450. In that range, depending on the year and stuff like that. So, that you have the ones that the classic car clubs, the classic car clubs. They're getting unfortunately getting smaller and smaller, but we're seeing kind of this
More individuals.
more individuals bringing their cars in now. So we're seeing that as kind of a transitional phase that the show is going through.
Sure. So you have, I believe it's what, Saturday night, you have a parade through Maine, right, with classic cars.
Yep.
And whoever wants to enter their car. And you guys parade up and down Maine, I believe.
One time, yeah. So
started up at the school and then you go
yeah,
down.
yeah.
and
So
then-
we started. We changed it up a little bit so that the classic car parade will be held at 3:00. So car owners are going to be meeting at the Brave Center by the Mandan High School, and then they'll go down 6th Avenue to Maine, and about 3:00 is when they're going to kind of make it to Maine and then make their way down one time all the way down to Maine, down to the far east end, and then they'll pass right by the large stage and that kind of stuff. And so once they get by, John Schneider and the Stars and Bars bands will take the stage at 4:00 on the big stage. And so that's where we've got the big setup downtown with the stage, and we've got the general mission seating. And it's general mission's free to the events, and you just come and you come there. And we do have a VIP section, so if you want a little bit more of a experience treatment, you can get tickets for that. But it's a great event. It's I think it'll be a really fun time down there. And so John Schneider will be on from 4 to 8. Then there'll be a break. With our local host, Marla Anderson, is going to be doing a game show for the hour break, which is going to be really fun. I can't give out any information on it, but it's going to be pretty pretty cool.
I heard, yeah.
It's going to be pretty cool. So we've got that, and then the Boogie Wonder Band, which is this funk disco kind of rock band, high energy band, will come on at 8, and then go from 8 to 11.
In which have you been to Deadwood or Cool Deadwood Nights? You see him and I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've watched them. I brought my lawn chair and set it up and watched just like everybody else. So I heard that band.
Yeah.
And this is actually the first time you guys have done something like this, right?
Yeah, this is the first time we've done anything like this where we've got a block party style stage and event. So I really came into the organization, on the cusp of something, happening, which is great because I get to kind of bring my own little flair to it too, kind of help design it because it's new. We haven't done this before, and it's we have 2 great parks. We have 2 beautiful parks, Dykstra Park's now done and absolutely gorgeous, and we'll be in there Sunday, then during the car show. So the car show kicks off at 11, and then from 12 to 4 we'll have a band in Unleashed in Dykstra Park. So then there'll be food vendors down there, all that kind of stuff while the car show's going on.
So during the car show, it's family oriented. There's not only is there cars, food. I believe there's a bouncy house, right? Because that's what you were totally into that. I mean,
That's the only reason why I'm going to be attending Saturday.
it's like everything going on. It's like all I hear about is the bouncy house. So there's stuff for the
Mostly
kids.
for me.
Swap meet, right?
Swap
I believe
meet, yep.
we're gonna have a swap meet there also.
Yep.
And so you got band. Yeah, pretty much everything that
Yeah, we
anybody
got
really
swap
wants.
meet, we got inflatables, we've got some craft vendors, we've got obviously the cars, we've got the tractors are going to be lined up in the Rivera parking lots, so the old time tractors will be out there. What else?
Plus, John's gonna be there, right?
Yeah, John's
He's
gonna be
there
down
a little
there. He'll
bit,
be down
right?
there from
He's
11
signing,
till 2.
or I mean, he publicly be there
He'll
to
publicly
sign
be there,
or
yeah.
whatever.
We're publicly going to green meet there, and
Okay.
we'll have the General Lee down there, so that'll be down there as well. So that'll be going on as well. So yeah, I mean,
Is he doing any jumps, like showing like the bridge jump?
He's got to do the class.
We gotta break him in slowly, we gotta get him up.
Maybe see, like, give him a
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
5-footer and see what he
Well, he just said his last one there at his place, he jumped his car 150 feet.
Really serious.
His Hellcat, 150 feet.
Wow. I'm sure it's stock.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's neat. So this kicks off, I think everything kind of really kicks off about 3 o'clock Friday, I'm guessing, is when.
Well, yeah, the VIP meet and greet's 3:30 to 5:30
Okay.
over at the Speedway.
Yep.
And then he heads to the races, sings the national anthem, and does his thing at the races. And
So all weekend,
Yep.
so basically come Friday and leave Sunday night with a weekend full of, like you said, it should be bands,
stuff you've probably never
cars,
seen before.
trucks, semis.
Everything.
There's,
Yep.
I know there's even gonna be bikes there because we always bring bikes. You're gonna see John Schneider airplanes. There's I mean, anything and everything that you can think of is you're going to be seeing for the weekend. And so, yeah, if you're not doing anything, come on down and check it out. It's everything is, the whole Buggies and Blues thing is something that, it's free of charge. There's no admission. It's open to the general public, and you can come down and see a ton of cars. There's a Mustang collection, I believe. I think Dan's going to have his cars like he does every year.
His whole block.
Yeah, the whole block, his own block, yeah. Are you having, Sean?
I'm not going to have nothing there this year. I'll have my stuff over at the truck show.
Okay.
But that's also free. The truck show's free admission.
Yeah.
And what's up there?
They'll have a good, I think
Equally
last
just
year,
as
how
cool.
many trucks did they have
I think they
last?
had, what did they say, like 180 trucks there last year.
It's a lot of trucks.
Yeah. And
It's a lot of trucks in
cool,
one area.
like,
It was a
cool
6-acre area, but still a lot of,
Yeah. So
lot
if
of
you're into
trucks.
semis,
And they're expecting a lot more this year.
yeah, so
It's
if
been
you're,
growing every year, so.
if you're into semis, definitely come, because it is cool.
It is, especially after dark when the light show starts.
Yeah, it's pretty
And it's
neat.
neat.
Yeah.
Kids just love that.
So again, a fun full weekend, tons of stuff going on, starting next Friday till I think the last thing gets over probably around 5 o'clock. I think is usually when
Yeah, the
things
car
start
show,
shutting down.
car show shuts down at 4
on
o'clock.
Main, and everybody goes home and gets ready for work the next day.
Yep.
It seems like I love that weekend, but I dread it because it's like no rest.
Yeah, that next
Yeah.
Monday, it's like,
It
we're
is.
working again.
Yeah. You
Back
get
to
up,
reality.
yeah, you get up super early to be prepared for the whole long weekend, and then you throw everything you can in the trailer, and you go home, you go right to bed and get up, and it's just like you didn't have any rest. So I look forward to it. It's once a year, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's
But
a real good time.
again, and your guys' event that's going on for a good cause, and that's what is it again? The Addilynns.
Addilynns Bee-lievers.
Yeah, Believers, and it's so. Is that like a website then or something?
We do have, we have a Facebook page. We do have a website that's just kind of in its beginning phases right now. Eventually hope to have more detail just kind of about Kaknawene and the individual challenges that Addilynn, are we talking about you? That Addilynn faces. But right now, like our Facebook page is probably the most active. And just sharing about how Kaknawene affects her and our family, and sharing about
they
the
can read
event.
the whole story and everything. I'm sure you
Yep.
put it on there. And then we'll put a link on our Facebook to that. So if anybody is interested, they can go over there and help out. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
And it always does. Nothing ever goes unappreciative ever.
Right.
So that's always nice. Any last thing? Got anything, Rob, you want to throw out there? Or
I think you about covered it all, man.
covered everything,
Yeah.
other than we got our work cut out for us for next weekend. I don't know if we've even really
That's
started
no
yet,
joke. Yeah.
but we definitely have our work cut out for us. So again, I want to thank you guys. Check us out on our Facebook, DakotaKustomz.com, and that's with a K and a Z, and our website, Dakota Kustomz. And until next week, thanks for watching.
See you guys.
See ya.